Today on Engineering Newswire, brought to you by Interpower, the premier supplier of power system components for worldwide markets. We're building trikes with BMW engines, separating Oreos with scrap parts, and designing Titanic II. Because, you know, that's necessary. Quebec-based Campagna Motors has unveiled the new T-Rex 16S to its family of trikes. Powered by a BMW 1649cc inline 6-cylinder engine, the trike generates 160 horsepower at 7,750 RPM and 129 pounds-per-feet of torque at 5,250 RPM. The power is directed via a 6-speed sequential transmission to the chain-driven rear wheel, and an advanced electric driving mode selector adjusts the grip to suit the driving conditions. Aside from its waterproof seats, the 16S also features a 180-watt RMS Alpine audio system that connects to nearly every device, an open glove compartment recessed in the dash, and removable side cases that provide 12 gallons of cargo capacity on each side of the vehicle, with additional cargo space under the hood. Some of the safety features include a crash-tested tubular chassis with roll cage and 3-point safety belts, but the vehicle hasn't been given EU certification. Campagna is working to rectify this soon, and let's get to it! I'm itching to get one of these on the road and see what she's made of.
Australian billionaire Clive Palmer recently ran out of new ways to burn money. So he turned to the next logical step, a massive replica from one of the greatest maritime disasters in history. Palmer is building the Titanic II. You remember the Titanic?
The little boat flipped over.
According to the Aussie coal man, passengers aboard the 10-deck ship will wear 1912-themed outfits to recreate the romance and memories of a bygone era. The vessel will also be without a phone or television, and he's still up in the air regarding internet access. While Titanic II will be decked out with a Turkish bath, a smoking room, a casino, a theater, and a hospital, Palmer will at least update the engine, HVAC system, and add 18 lifeboats to the safety deck. Initially, I was skeptical, because of... And while 40,000 people already want tickets to the maiden voyage, I hesitated when I thought... And then Palmer came out and said, anything will sink if you put a hole in it. Why wouldn't I fear icebergs? Oh yeah, because global warming isn't a scam, but rather a safe sea means to justify the Titanic II's ends.
And one of the benefits of global warming has been there isn't so many icebergs in the North Atlantic these days.
Thank you, Clive.
We all know the term over-engineering. This may be the world's greatest excuse to over-engineer, bar none. David Neville, a physicist in Portland, Oregon, has created an Oreo separator machine. Without any of that twist and dunk nonsense, this machine separates the Oreo, relieves the cookie of its cream filling, and dispenses it in utter poise. Neville, an Oreo cream dissident, built this contraption with several small motors and actuators, aluminum scraps, a CNC router, and hatchet laced with dental floss. The hatchet splits the cookie, and the halves progress through a semi-complex system until they reach the CNC table, which is used to remove all frosting remnants. After long working hours and struggling with the cold of his workshop, Neville has managed to over-engineer his way to a cream-free Oreo.
It turns out that having a police officer stand by the side of the road to throw out a spike strip is dangerous. Yep, looks tricky. So the engineers at Engineering Science Analysis Corporation created a tricked out speed bump in a suitcase that fires a tentacle. Spawned from Squid, or the safe, quick undercarriage immobilization device prototype, the Pit-Ballistic Undercarriage Lanyard, or Pit-Bull, is a remotely activated speed bump that stops vehicles in their tracks with a set of spikes attached to a net. With the push of a button, Pit-Bull punctures the tires while the net puts a stranglehold on the car's axles. The Pit-Bull can also integrate a motion-activated sensor for remote locations without an officer on duty. Another squid spawn, dubbed NightHawk, was developed by Pacific Scientific Energetic Materials Company, which partnered with Stopstick to create this remote-controlled spike strip disguised as a small suitcase. Pop the top and this tentacle deploys just in time to deflate the future felon's attempt to elude officers. No longer will spike strips deflate unnecessary tires because the NightHawk can be retracted as quickly as it was deployed, and remote trigger keeps the officer out of harm's way. You heard me, bad boys. Now what you gonna do?
Snake robots developed at the Carnegie Mellon University Biorobotics Lab have demonstrated behaviors useful for scouting and reconnaissance. What's the big deal, you might ask? Who cares about snake bots when we have flying drones and bipedal automatons? What's really extraordinary about this research is the challenge of creating a robot with a virtual chassis. A significant challenge with snake robots involves representing motion. In particular, defining a body frame in which to intuitively model external motion in the world is quite difficult. The overall method of deriving the virtual chassis can be thought of as performing principal component analysis on zero mean data. Specifically, this is done by taking the singular value decomposition of the positions of all the robot's modules with respect to the center of the mass. Parameterized gates were used to enable an intuitive mapping between changes in motion of the robot through the environment. Using these gate parameters allows the control to know the state of the snake in a language that it and the operator both understand. An operator can still control the snake with a sense of the robot's position and orientation. However, the intuition of this frame lies solely with the operator and is drawn from observing the system as a whole rather than a single module. The goal is to eventually make the snakebots autonomous, creating a Rambo-like snakebot on steroids.
I'm coming to get you.
Do you have story ideas? Comment below and we'll cover them in an upcoming episode. For PD&D TV, I'm Megan Zimmer, and this has been your Engineering Newswire.